sa tingin mo ba, yung sa sektor ng kabataan, marami ho ba ang pabor o kontra dito sa impeachment trial ni VP Sara?
Well, kasi kung titingnan natin, karamihan sa mga kabataan naman talaga ngayon, ay ang kanilang mga pinapakinggan ay yung mga progresibong mga politiko. No? Karamihan sa kanila naniniwala doon sa mga politiko o mga halal na galing sa hanay ng mga, sabihin na natin, mga dilaw, mga pinklawan. Ano? And syempre, itong mga to, wala namang bukang bibig sila kung hindi kailangan matuloy yung pag-impeach sa ikalawang pangulo. No? So, maaaring may malaking epekto to doon sa nabubuo o nabuo na persepsyon sa mata ng ating kabataan na mayroon kinakailangang ipaliwanag ang ating ikalawang pangulo. Bunsod na rin, syempre, nung political considerations, nung mga kinikilala nila na mga political figures, no? Kagaya halimbawa ni Kiko Pangilinan, ni Bam Aquino, no, and many others na Risa Ontiveros na nasahanay nga nitong mga opposition sa ating ikalawang pangulo. Pero kung titignan din naman natin yung mga nagdaang surveys, no, malaking percentage din naman ng mga kabataan ngayon ang pumapabor doon sa performance, sa trust and satisfaction net rating ng ating ikalawang pangulo. So, maaring na masabi natin na sa issue ng impeachment, maaring pabor sila rito, pero ang maaring konsiderasyon lang naman nila rito ay parang makita o maipakita ng ikalawang pangulo kung meron ba talagang batayan yung mga ibinibitang sa kanya o wala.
Opo. Prof, sa tingin ho ninyo, gaano kabigat ang araw na ito, itong impeachment trial ni VP Sara sa kasaysayan po ng politika sa Pilipinas?
Well, yeah, unprecedented dahil yun nga, first time in the history that we're impeaching a sitting vice president, no? Na sa tingin nga ng marami, medyo hindi na talaga kinakailangan because what is the vice president doing? And I've many times already amplified on this, no? Other than waiting for the president to be incapacitated, to die, or to resign, wala naman po talagang mahalaga na ginagampanan at tungkulin ng ikalawang pangulo. So titignan natin ito dun sa konteksto that this is really, of course, apart from what they say that this is all about accountability. Pero kasi kung accountability ang pinag-uusapan, siguro dapat patas, ano? Yun ko kasi yung problema natin kasi yung ating ikalawang pangulo, we're crying for justice and accountability. Pero yung iba rin naman na sumisigaw nito, no, sila mismo meron din mga itinatagong baho, no? For example, yung sinasabi nga natin, there is a legal maxim that those who accuses must come to court with clean hands. Pero yung mismong miyembro ng prosecution team, no, na against dito sa ating ikalawang pangulo, I'm talking about Jervil Luistro, okay? Nasabi nga niya dahil kay speaker, no, puro ganun ang binabanggit niya. Nandiyan si Terry Ridon, nandiyan si Laila de Lima na pinatungkulan na, no, na may mga natanggap na mga maleta, no. So kung titingnan natin, sila yung namumuno sa prosecution, but they themselves, no, are they really totally clean, no? So mahirap kasi if you're looking for accountability pero one-sided lang, ano. At ito yung medyo kinakailangan natin itong klaruhin, basically. And then siguro kinakailangan din nating tignan kung kailangan ba talaga. Yes, maaaring kailangan in the promotion of democratic spaces in the country. This is really much needed for accountability. Pero I tell you this, because masyadong matagal ang guguling panahon itong impeachment na to, this could effectively be used as a smokescreen of the administration para ilihis yung mga issue, palayo doon sa flood control, maganda sana kung halimbawa kasabay, halimbawa kung while we're doing the impeachment, maisusunod o magkakaroon din tayo ng pagdinig tungkol sa flood control, kasi that's really what accountability is. And when you look at accountability, you're looking at it from all angles, we don't leave any stone unturned, ika nga. Pero kung ang nangyayari dito, ang binubuksan mo lamang yung sa Vice President, pero yung sa Pangulo at sa kanyang mga kaalyado ay nananatiling sarado o pilit isinasara, talagang may question tayo rito regarding selective accountability.
Opo. At nabanggit mo nga kanina, smoke screen. Papaano maapektuhan o ito makakaapekto itong impeachment trial? Lalo tayo'y nahaharap sa samot-saring problema, mataas na presyo ng mga bilihin at marami pa, Prof.
Well, yun nga, no? Parang pinilit kahit hinog sa hinog sa pilit ika nga no itong impeachment na to na kahit titignan natin yung articles of impeachment talagang mahina naman talaga, pero they really needed to do this, no, and again it serves a many different purpose for them. Okay, if you're going to analyze it closely, of course the ultimate goal is conviction. If they're going to get the conviction, it's going to be very good for them. At least mission accomplished sila. Pero we need to understand na medyo mahirap yon, lalo na kung hindi bababa yung threshold for conviction. It's really going to be a tall order. Pero at the very least, dahil nga sa tagal at haba nitong proseso ng impeachment, they could effectively use this to weaken the political capital of the vice president. Imagine you're going to lay down all the allegations left and right against her, no, and this is going to be televised, no, on national television, and so talagang kumbaga parang nakakuha sila ng libreng ng libreng PR machinery against the vice president, no, that's one, no, so yun yung goal, ano, and at the same time another goal is to yun nga ilihis yung atensyon ng publiko mula dito sa flood control scandal, mula dito sa bilyon trilyon peso na nawawala sa atin papunta dito sa issue ng impeachment. And I think they were able to effectively do that, no, pero we need to understand that this may also backfire against this very government that is trying to do this against the vice president. No, number one, yung Pilipino kasi they really love rooting for the underdogs. At dito sa punto na to, kitang-kita kung paano talaga minamaniobra lahat against the vice president. So this might work against the government. Secondly, kapag hindi nila na-impeach at hindi nila natibag yung solid na bloke ng boto na nito ni VP Sara Duterte with this impeachment thing that napilit nga nilang niluto, mas nakikita ko that the vice president will emerge stronger and even better come 2028, and this is something that Marcos and his allies should really be very, very afraid about. So I would say na talagang huling baraha nila itong impeachment na to para pahinain ang ating ikalawang Pangulo at nga kung masusunod yung kagustuhan nila, talagang alisin siya sa equation. This is what they're actually aiming for. And at the same time, yun nga, para mawala yung atensyon ng ating mga kababayan dito sa flood control, no? At yun nga, while having this or while doing this, yung atensyon na wala kasi doon sa governance napupunta doon sa politika. To the point na kahit walang ginagawa yung gobyerno, kahit utang na tayo ng utang na wala namang bagong programa, kahit nagnanakaw na naman o may mga niluluto na naman silang pagnanakaw, lalong-lalo na sa panibagong budget, they can get away with it, because the limelight and the attention of the masses is glued to the impeachment. So ang akin sana, kahit may impeachment, dapat hindi natin palagpasin yung mga ibang issue at yung ibang angulo, kailangan tignan pa rin po natin. Because that is the only way that we could attain full accountability at hindi itong tinatawag natin na selective justice.
Opo. Sa kasaysayan ba ng ating bansa, Prof, ilang impeachment cases ba ang hindi nauwi sa conviction?
Well, ang hindi nauwi sa conviction, yung as of late, yung recently yung kay Merceditas Gutierrez, because this was decided by COA ng mismong Supreme Court, So hindi na talaga siya nauwi sa full-blown impeachment. Even I think there were impeachment complaints that were filed, of course, against Gloria Macapagal Arroyo when she was a president. I think there were 4 impeachment complaints that were filed against her, pero yun nga hindi to nag-prosper, dahil nga may hina yung mga articles of impeachment na fina-file laban sa kanya, and so it did not really prosper. I think during the time of President Digong, there were also filed impeachment complaints, pero yun nga, hindi naman talaga siya umusad, ano. Noong time ni Noynoy Aquino, there were also impeachment complaints that were filed, pero again, hindi rin siya umusad. So kung titingnan natin, ano, I think wala naman talagang pangulo as of late, no, na masabi nating hindi dumaan sa isang impeachment complaint. Pero yung yun nga, no, ito pero medyo first time talaga na mangyayari na ang ini-impeach natin is a vice president, no. I think it goes without saying, no, that if you're going to impeach the president, I think it's right, no, kasi talagang may mataas na level siya ng accountability supposedly, no, mas mataas kumpara sa vice president, at nasa kanya talaga yung bigat nung nung governance mechanisms ng gobyerno. Pero um, first time in the history that we're going to impeach somebody na kumbaga second fiddle lang sa kanyang departamento. Yung si Supreme Court Chief Justice before, no, na na-convict natin, CJ Corona, he headed the Supreme Court, no. So yun nga, mataas din yung level of accountability. Pero for a vice president, other than the political angle and other than the reason that they would want to remove her out of the equation for 2028, eh talaga namang masasabi natin medyo problematic talaga itong impeachment na to.
Opo. Sa tingin po ninyo, Prof, kung sakali pong magiging present si Vice President Sara Duterte sa impeachment trial niya, makakatulong, makakadagdag ho ba yan sa kanyang political capital, o ano yung magiging direksyon kaya? Ano magiging epekto po niyan?
Well, first and foremost, there is really no hard and fast rule, no, that she is being compelled to attend. So even if she's not there, for as long as she is being represented by her legal counsel, the trial could actually go on, no? And siguro, unless of course she will be the one to be called to the witness stand, I think she really needs to be physically present there. Ngayon, as to the optics, no, syempre, kung titignan natin, two sides, ano, kasi that we need to look at here, no. Sa isang banda, magagamit yung kanyang presensya, no, para sabihin ng kanyang mga talagang para kumaga mas maging masigasig yung kanyang mga kalaban, ano, na puntosan siya kapag nandoon siya. Okay? On the flip side, pwede rin naman niya itong magamit sa kanyang on her advantage, because it will show and demonstrate the idea na she's not running from any accusation and that she's facing them, squarely. No? So I think yun yung kailangan natin tignan dito. Pero ang sa akin, kung hindi naman talaga siya kinakailangang umattend at meron naman talagang well-prepared pieces yung kanyang defense team in so far as impeachment is concerned, I think mas maraming kakailanganing harapin na function ng ating ikalawang pangulo, kasi yung ating pangulo nga, alam na natin, hindi na nagtatrabaho, no. Paano pa kaya kung yung ating ikalawang pangulo masyado ring magiging focus dito sa impeachment niya at hindi na rin gagalaw, magiging problematic naman yon para sa buong bansa, no, na yung dalawang pinakamataas na pinuno natin masyadong busy, no, sa kanya-kanyang issue, no. Yung ating pangulo busy sa kawalan ng ginagawa, at yung ating namang VP busy sa kanyang impeachment, di ba? So I think kinakailangan nating balansehin, ano? Para kay VP siguro mas maganda, no? Siguro once or twice that she attends it, and then after that it's already good.
Doon sa BIR box, siguro, komento, reaction po ninyo na planong pabuksan.
Well, in the first place, no, kung sakali man talaga nito ay bubuksan, maganda po sana na wag na masyadong i-trivialize, no, or masyadong gawing dramatic, no, dahil nga maalala natin baka mahalintulad lang naman ito doon sa remember the brown envelope nung trial ni Joseph Estrada, no, Pangulong Joseph Estrada. that eventually led to a walkout, no, ng ating mga senator judges during that time, no. Baka kasi we're giving too much emphasis on this, tapos wala naman talagang weight, no. Baga parang it just is being used for the drama and the optics, no, pero wala naman talagang bearing. So sa akin mas maganda kung talagang ilatag na natin. I mean, in the impeachment mas maganda talaga that there will be nga no stones unturned, no. Para talaga masabi man natin na mahantong-humantong man tayo sa acquittal later on, masasabi natin na talagang yung acquittal mayroong batayan dahil ito ay batay doon sa lahat ng ebidensya na naipresenta.
Pag-usapan nyo kanina, yung mga individual no, na naging subject ng impeachment at ang pinaka-umusad lang talaga dyan ay yung kay Chief Justice Renato Corona at ilan doon sa mga impeachment na yon ay either nag-resign o bumaba po sa pwesto o nabasura yung kaso, yung isa na co-waranto. Pero karamihan po ay bumaba sa pwesto o nag-resign. Sa tingin nyo po, may advantage o disadvantage ba? Kung, if ever man lang, si Vice President Sara Duterte bumaba na lang sa pwesto mag-resign sa gitna po ng impeachment trial?
Well, para po sa akin, so it will not create a very good impression so far as our people is concerned, lalong-lalo na doon sa mga naniniwala at nananalig na talagang walang nilabag at walang ginawang mali ang ating ikalawang pangulo. We need to understand, of course, that the impeachment is really a political exercise, and the way we're seeing it right now, kung hindi talaga i-bend the law, at kung talagang titignan natin yung tinatadhana ng ating saligang batas, kinakailangan talaga ng 16 to convict. And that, I believe, is quite a tall order right now, given the fact na malapit ng eleksyon at kinakailangan ng mga senators, especially those who are running for election, some kind of political leverage in support of their political capital. No, so sa akin, kung magre-resign ng ating ikalawang pangulo, it may create the impression na she's fleeing from the allegations, that she's really trying to save her political future. Now, again, like I said a while ago, if ever she will emerge out of this impeachment and she will be acquitted of this, I tell you this, she will really be emerging very, very strong and very, very tough. Because the perception that was created is that she already went through a cleansing process. No? Kung ang tinitignan natin, ang tinitignan ko rito kasi impeachment as a cleansing process para talaga to eradicate the idea na meron siyang katiwalian na ginawa, then this definitely will further improve her chances, no, which is already good at the moment, no, come 2028. Na yun naman talagang gusto nating lahat, na makapagpatuloy siya sa kanyang pagiging pangulo, no, sa 2028. Ngayon, yung sa issue naman na kung siya magre-resign, it may open kasi some other problems or complexities, no. Number one, may mga pagkaantala doon sa mga programa na nakalatag na ginagawa niya ngayon sa Office of the Vice President. Another thing is magpipili itong si President Bongbong Marcos from among the members of the Senate or the Congress kung sino yung halili sa kanya, no? And again, this may complicate things even further kapag itong VP na to, no, na papalit sa kanya, hahabol din eventually later on, and most likely ganun ang mangyari. So I think mas maganda na talagang ipagpatuloy na lang at harapin itong issue. After all, I think the truth is on her side. At the same time, we know for a fact that this is really more of a political persecution rather than a trial for full-blown accountability.
Opo, ang labanan po ngayon ay nasa dalawang korte, impeachment court at court of public opinion po. Prof, paano po ngayon ang paghimay, pagtanggap, pagbusisi ng taong bayan ukol dito sa mga tamang impormasyon versus yung mga propaganda, no, na maaring gawin, maaring mag-ingay, and Pwede ba yung impeachment court may gag order ba na outside sa impeachment trial? Hindi pag-uusapan, pwede bang ganun din, Prof?
Well, basically kasi no, yung kasing court of public opinion, kung titignan naman natin, is something na they have been trying to parang rehearse, and they're trying to really create the impression that the vice president is really involved in all these accusations. Kaya kung titignan natin, kahit na pilit yung mga articles of impeachment nila na inilatag, talagang pinilit pa rin nila talaga na maisulong ito, no? Basically because they're looking at the vice president, as the person that will really make their lives miserable by 2028. Meaning, if she will be able to run, and they know for a fact that she has a very good chance of winning, and she is the only one capable of, running after these people, not because of vengeance. No, I don't think it that way, but because she knows fully well that these people are the real reasons kung bakit tayo naghihirap ngayon. And I think she's going to do this for the country. At ito yung maganda na kinakailangan sana na maunawaan din ng ating mga kababayan, no? Na kung meron talagang tao, okay, masasabi natin, political figure right now, that will really work towards ensuring na itong mga nagnanakaw ngayon mapaparusahan, or at the very least maibalik sa atin yung mga ninakaw ng mga pondo at pera. It's only Sara Duterte who do that, nobody else. Okay? And I think we need to be very clear on that. No? Ngayon, kung itong impeachment nga na to magpapatuloy and it will result in an acquittal, like I said a while ago, this will really galvanize even further the resolve of the Vice President to really go after and run after itong mga nagpapahirap sa Pilipinas ngayong panahon na to. And the hour of reckoning is going to happen, and it will happen whether we like it or not. No matter how hard this current administration prevents that from happening, it will definitely come. And I think it's only the vice president who has the ability to do that. Kaya kahit anong siguro sabihin na nating latag nila against the vice president, I think the resolve of the vice president is very clear, na she really would want to go for full accountability, and this time yung totoong accountability ang ating asahan.
Opo. Malinaw po ba o wala yung involvement mismo ng Pangulo dito po sa impeachment? Kasi kung pagbabasehan natin, under sa kanyang administration, parang yung mga problema ata parang kay Duterte. Lahat ng mga sinasabi at yung pinaka-latest yata niya na pahayag ay doon sa nagkaroon ng press briefing kung saan hayagan niyang sinabi na pag yung Duterte ay hindi na nagumpisa sa panahon ni Duterte, walang ginawa, yung mga ganun po. Dito po ba sa mga pahayag na ito at sa mga opisyal pa ng lalo na sa Malacanang, sa Palasyo, may kita na mayroon talagang sabit ang Pangulo dito sa impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
Well, balikan natin yung binanggit ni Tatay Digong ng ating dating Pangulo Duterte nung panahon na siya ay and a lot of people were asking him na i-impeach yung kanyang Vice President, si VP Leni Robredo. Anong sinabi ng ating dating Pangulo? Sabi niya, huwag niyo siyang guluhin, huwag niyong pakialaman, halalian ng taong bayan. So the mere fact that the President right now did not even prevent this impeachment from happening, it only goes to show na talagang gusto niya na ma-eradicate o mawala sa landas niya si Vice President Sara Duterte, na kung titignan naman natin, siya rin talaga naging susi para siya manalo nung 2022 elections. So again, I think it's very, very clear what the President right now is claiming, and what he is trying to do is to really eradicate the Vice President away from his path, para maging madali. Because the truth is this, lahat ng tao sa gobyerno maaaring bilhin ni President Bongbong Marcos. Why? Because he has the money. And this money is not his. It's taxpayers' money, right? Kaya niyang bilhin kahit na sino except one person. And that's VP Sara Duterte. Why? Because if it was true, no, na talagang magnanakaw si VP Sara Duterte, hindi siya alis sa poder ni Marcos. Mas pipiliin niya na maging kaalyado si Marcos kasi alam niya na hindi lang milyon ang kanyang makukuha, kundi bilyon and maybe even trillion. But she chose to go the other side. She chose to take the other route. Okay? Presumably because hindi niya talaga kaya yung ginagawa ni Marcos. Kaya mas pinili niya na isiwalat yung katotohanan. Kaya hindi ako naniniwala dun sa sinasabi ni President Marcos na siya lamang ang nagbunyag nito. Remember na bago niya po ito sinabi na sa atin to ng dating Pangulo, sinabi na rin ni VP Inday Sara na talagang mayroong problema na nangyayari doon sa ating national budget. So again, if it was true that VP Sara is is a plunderer and that she really would want to get the people's money for her own sake, she could have easily sided with President Bongbong Marcos at wala siya magiging problema, 'di ba? Pero the mere fact that she stood up against the president, it speaks volumes of her character and her integrity as a person and as a leader.
Opo, matatandaan natin kahit supporter ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa katauhan ni Attorney Manny Luna, sinibak nga siya sa pwesto noon dahil parang gustong paimbisigahan noon na chairman or commissioner ng Philippine Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission na si Luna, si Vice President Leni Robredo, at nabanggit niya ito sa live na public address mismo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hayagan niya itong mga sinasabi. Pero dito po sa yung nababanggit niyo po na sa paglaban sa corruption, di po ba yung kanyang pinakaunang executive order pagbuwag doon sa Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, at sa panahon din ata niya nabuwag yung PCGG din, di ba, Prof?
Actually, yun nga yung medyo nakakalungkot, no, na binabanggit niya na walang ginawa yung dating administration against corruption. Well, in the first place, dahil nga medyo iba yung stance ng dating Pangulo regarding corruption, maaaring ito yung dahilan kung bakit hindi mo na kinakailangan gumawa pa ng mga direktang inisyatibo para to ay supilin. Kasi nga, sapat na yung presensya ng Pangulo para magbigay ng takot, pangamba, at pagkabalisa doon sa mga corrupt sa gobyerno, at hindi lang sa gobyerno, no, even yung mga oligarchs, no, na kayang-kaya at tinibag ng ating dating Pangulo. So I mean, you don't necessarily need to have mechanisms if the persona of the president alone is enough to render these criminals, these corrupt officials, fearful from doing anything related to ill-gotten wealth or plunder or whatever that is, no. Pero kasi sa usapin nitong sa kalukuyang administration, tama po kayo. Yung pong PACC, which was created during the time of President Duterte, yun yung unang-una niyang tinanggal. So it gives the impression that he is trying to embolden or encourage, no, corrupt officials. Kasi bakit mo tatanggalin ng isang performing anti-corrupt body, no? Kung ikaw ay against sa katiwalian, bakit mo ito unang-unang tinanggal? And so again, it created the impression na tanggalin na natin yan para mas malaya tayong, alam niyo na, makagawa ng katiwalian. And so again, this does not really sit well with what the president is trying to say, na siya yung nanguna dito sa paglaban sa katiwalian. I really beg to disagree with that. Actually, kung totoo na siya yung nangunguna sa paglaban sa katiwalian, hindi dapat ito nakita lamang doon sa pagsiwalat niya sa flood control. Dapat nagsimula ito sa hindi niya pagpirma doon sa controversial na GAA noong 2025. It's as simple as that. Because President Duterte did that in 2019, no, when he saw that the GAA is tainted with a lot of controversial provisions or controversial elements. He did not sign it. No. Pero dito kay President Marcos, kung nakita niya, bakit pinirmahan niya pa rin?
Opo, clarify lang natin, PACC lang pala ang kanyang binuwag at hindi
Yeah.
kasama yung sa PCGG. Pero huli na lang naman po, make or break ba ito para kay Vice President Sara Duterte itong impeachment complaint? Makakatulong ba sa kanya ito kung halimbawa maabsuelto siya at para sa kanyang 2028 election? And how about naman doon sa mga kongresista na napaka-vocal? Make or break din ba ito sa kanilang political career, Prof, lalo na kung maabsuelto ang pangalawang Pangulo?
Well, one thing, this congressman, na talaga namang sobra rin naman yung kanilang ginagawa sa ating ikalawang Pangulo. I think they need to really come up with very good exit plans later on. If ever the vice president will emerge successful in this impeachment complaint, and it will result in an acquittal, and that she will be able to run for 2028, and if eventually she will win, kinakailangan po talaga na maganda-gandang exit plan itong mga congressmen na to. No? Again, hindi naman talaga to about vengeance. It's not really about that. I believe the vice president is not going to do that out of personal vendetta. But rather, it's going to be done because she needs to make the necessary actions to correct several misgivings, to correct mistakes that were done. And I think this is very, very important for a leader. No? Kasi ang pinakamahirap sa isang presidente, kung meron ka na nakikitang mali at wala ka pang ginagawa, kagaya na nangyayari ngayon. Alam na natin na meron siya nakikitang hindi tama, may mga nagsasabi na sa kanya ng mga katiwalian left and right, pero pinakikipit-balikat lamang niya, or worse, ibinabalik niya yung sisi doon sa nakarang administration. I think that's really quite problematic. So what the vice president will be doing if ever she becomes president is not really a matter of vendetta, but rather a matter of correcting what was wrong, in the past. And I think, yes, this is going to be a make or break thing for the vice president, but it's also going to be a make or break thing for the Filipino nation as a whole. Imagine if she will not be able to run for 2028. Ano kayang kapalaran na nag-aantay sa atin kung ang mauupo na naman kaalyado ni President Marcos, at hindi natin mapaparusahan itong mga nagnanakaw sa kaban ng bayan. I think this is going to really be very, very bad for all of us. So if we really want to have the change, and it is really the change that we needed, I think mas maganda po siguro na maitama natin yung pahina ng ating kasaysayan ngayon. And if needed be, na dumaan tayo sa isang proseso kagaya ng impeachment para po mailabas natin yung katotohanan, then so be it. At the end of the day, what we only want is to have a better future, a better life for Filipinos, for the Filipino people. Something that we deserve, and something that is a far cry from what we are having at the moment.
Opo, huli na lang, Prof. Naniniwala si President Marcos Jr. na kung siya daw ang nasa kalagayan nga ni VP Sara Duterte, ay pipiliin niyang humarap sa Senate Impeachment Court sa halip na ipaubayan na lamang sa kanyang mga abogado yung pagsagot po sa mga alegasyon. Reaction po ninyo?
Oh, well, may binanggit dito si Attorney Rowena Guanzon, that during the time that President Marcos also had some problem yata with a protest filed against him sa COMELEC and TAMC, and Chairman Guanzon Commissioner Guanzon was the one handling the petition. Hindi rin siya umattend dahil daw may sakit siya. Okay. So bakit niya ngayon kino-compel yung ating ikalawang Pangulo when in fact there is really no hard and fast rule that she needs to be there in the first place. So siguro mas maganda ang may papayo ko rito sa Pangulo, mas maganda siguro manahimik na lang muna siya. Hayaan niya na gumulong itong impeachment process, and atupagin sana niya kung paano talaga maayos yung sitwasyon ng ating bansa ngayon, from a governance perspective, paano niya iaangat yung ating lugmok na kalagayan, itong crisis na nararanasan natin ngayon, kung paano niya rin siguro iaangat yung kanyang numero, from -15, -13, and it will continue to spiral down. Siguro mas maganda ganun ang pagtuunin niya ng pasyan and leave the impeachment dito sa Senado na siguro mas capable at may mas sapat na kakayahan na tignan kung meron ba talagang o walang kasalanan ng ating dalawang ito.
Pero somehow, Prof, naniniwala ho kayong may kinalaman si PBBM o may impluensya si PBBM dito sa impeachment kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
It's without a doubt, no, without a doubt. Remember that the lower house, no, is normally controlled by the sitting president, no. Whatever the direction of the president, padali niya talagang may ugnayan sa lower house. At dito nga nag-uugat ng impeachment, dito siya nagsisimula. And do you think these people in the Congress, itong mga kaalyado niya, will be that emboldened to pursue the impeachment if not for him? Di ba? Kung talagang merong nagpapalakas ng loob nila, is tuloy niyo yan kasi yan yung gusto niya mangyari. Iba kundi yung ating Pangulo. It's as simple as that. And we don't need to be a rocket scientist para malaman that the president is really behind this. Whether we accept it or not, whether he admits it or not, he really has a hand in the impeachment. And ang talagang layunin naman nandito ng ating Pangulo is masiguro nga na mawawala si Sara by 2028 or hihina yung kanyang political capital heading into 2028 kung hindi man siya makukonvict. So, without a doubt, no, even the Senate, kaya nga pinilit nila na magkaroon ng Senate leadership change, no, bago magsimula ang impeachment because the president needs to be sure that he needs to have a Senate that he can easily manage and that he can easily control. So that's the reality, no? Yun naman talagang katotohanan.